I decided in that moment that that was the kind of job that I wanted to do. I'm Miguel Berdugo. I'm working here as a postdoc researcher, and I study abrupt shift in ecosystems. Basically, when an ecosystem is suffering a disturbance or a change in the climate, a disturbance doesn't necessarily need to be climatic. It can also be a human disturbance, like a land use change. Usually the ecosystems change, but there are some certain types of ecosystems that given a point, given certain environmental conditions, they reorganize themselves, and instead of changing gradually, they just change abruptly, or they just function differently. I try to understand where this is happening, when this is happening, and how this is happening. My research is important because knowing when an ecosystem is going to change abruptly or in a way that is not really expected help us to understand which ecosystems are vulnerable and why they are vulnerable and when they are going to be most vulnerable. My father is a physicist, and there was one day that he was just looking at the TV and suddenly he just stood up and said, "Oh, I got it." And he got very excited and started calling people, and I decided in that moment that that was the kind of job that I wanted to do. I chose ecology because as a teenager I was very influenced by some movies like Princess Mononoke, in which they deal with nature as a higher entity than the different parts that structure that system, right? And when I started studying, I learned about emergent properties, which is something similar, is when a system behaves in a way that you cannot explain as the summation of the different parts that integrate the system. They have these behaviors only because all those parts are ensembled together and they just do the work together. So I became very fascinated by that, and you can say that my brain and my heart just met and I got in love of ecology. Before coming here, I did my PhD in Spain, and I was studying dryland systems, which are deserts and semi-deserts, and they are ecosystems that are very prone to exhibit this kind of behaviors of abrupt shifts. Definitely is the people, because I think that the Crowther Lab is more than the summation of its parts. So I really enjoy being in this environment, and I think it's really fruitful for research. So I have many hobbies. I enjoy doing outdoor activities with my wife and my two dogs. And I hike, I climb, I dive. I love traveling. But apart from that, I also play guitar and piano. And I also write novels. Let me think about it. I will say it was the Chinese hot pot, Chinese fondue. It was a high surprise for me. I was really not expecting that.